we do dry powder particle engineering with combination drugs. By the end of the year, we hope to be in phase 1 clinical studies. We expect to announce our first partnership in the not too distant future. Inhalation is a critical component to that because it's going to reduce toxicity.
Onyx Live is proudly sponsored by Humphrey's Law.
I'm Daniel Green, Chief Executive of eSpraye, a spray drying inhalation company based here in San Francisco, and I'm here with Onyx.
Fantastic. And can you tell us more about exactly what eSpraye are working on?
So we do dry powder particle engineering with combination drugs. So we're packaging into a single particle multiple mechanisms of action. It's delivered simultaneously into the lung for drugs that are poorly tolerated orally or poorly absorbed orally, and we're taking them directly to the target organ, the lung, for rare lung diseases.
Can you give us a bit of background regarding dry powder inhalation and delivery directly to the lung, and how is that differentiated from what else is on the market?
Well, in the inhalation space currently, nebulized drugs have been taking the lead. If you look at United Therapeutics, Tyvaso, for example, when they introduced a dry powder version, which was much more convenient, as opposed to having to sit with the nebulization and the cleaning and equipment issues, it took 70% of the market within 3 years and took the growth of that franchise into a new product growth curve. Mm-hmm. So we are essentially creating the convenience that the nebulized prototypes have developed, and we're putting it into the patient-preferred, most convenient form factor for very easy convenience and better compliance and lower side effects. Translates into better outcomes in addition, outside of the clinical trial context.
What kind of data have you seen in the lab?
Well, in the lab, we're formulating multiple combinations. We have 6 different combinations in formulation. 2 are publicly disclosed, and we are looking to then put those into GMP scale-up to go into humans. Factors permitting, by the end of the year, we hope to be in phase 1 clinical studies. Under certain partnering conditions, we could be in more advanced development.
You've touched upon the ambition for phase 1 trials later this year. Are there any other major milestones to look forward to in the next 24 months?
Well, what our process is to project our expected formulation and then reduce it to practice. That's a 1-year sequence. So we're about to file our first PCT based on our first formulation, and our second formulations by May we'll file those PTs and establish the patent position, firmly planting a stake in the ground. Those are value-creating events.
And I'm reminded of Merck's acquisition of Verona Pharma's asset. They clearly have an appetite in this area. Are they knocking at your door?
No comment.
Can't push you for any more.
Look, we're talking to a lot of partners. I have 6 different formulations in development. All the usual suspects in the inhalation space are targets for discussion, and I believe I've spoken to just about all of them.
What do you feel like the general sentiment is in the biotech industry at the moment?
Compared to last year, night and day. This is not the same as 2022, where dollars were throwing at everything COVID, but we've been through a tough time, and it looks like the markets are starting to shift. AI has consumed a huge amount of capital to our loss. The XBI was down 40% in April. It's now well above, I think it's roughly 25% up on the year. So that's unleashing the purses of the investors, and a slight reduction in interest rates isn't hurting because of the discount rates that apply to long-term projects as opposed to short-term ones.
So in a couple of sentences, what is your main message to investors this week?
Well, this has been a true 2-drug market until the 4th quarter of last year, and the 2 drugs could not be tolerated together orally. The 3rd drug now makes combination therapy possible, and inhalation is a critical component to that because it's going to reduce toxicity. In some cases, it will improve adherence, and that's almost certainly going to lead to better outcomes. Dry powder is the preferred formulation. We have to, of course, prove that, but we believe that our fast follower status in the case of one formulation and our leadership in the other is going to perhaps put us ahead of some of our very large competitors. eSpraye engineers multiple mechanism drugs delivered in a single particle. We're not delivering single drugs, so we're putting a complete solution together into one dose, one puff, twice a day in some cases, potentially once a day in others. Better tolerability and convenience leads to better adherence and better outcomes. Dry powder will take these oral drugs and make them far more useful and potentially broaden the therapeutic index.
Very excited to see your progress and where you're going to get in the future. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.